Chudley Dudley the Builder is actively in prison right now. He hasn't made a post since May 13th of 2026, so it's been a fair amount of time since we haven't heard the N-word from this man in quite some time. And I think he's really doing good with his rehabilitation because he hasn't said a racist thing in about 7 days, which is pretty cool for us. I enjoy that. But his lawyer released a statement recently talking about all the death threats that he's been getting because his lawyer has been receiving a copious amount of death threats to his law offices. And before we do that, I'd like to talk about two things. The person who shared this is Robbie Harvey right here. This is Robbie Harvey. I'm going to play his video because he warned for months. I've warned Tennessee officials about Chud the Builder. For months, I told them he was going to kill someone, and for months, they did nothing. Now it finally happened. Dalton Etherly attempted to murder a man today, and it could have been avoided. I want to play this video because I think this is very important coming from Robert Harvey's thing. This isn't the lawyer, but it is the person that shared the lawyer's statement about what's going on about the felony charges and things of that variety. So let's watch this.
Since November 2025, I've been exposing this man known as Chud the Builder, where he walks around Tennessee doing things like this.
Yo, he got Fendi glasses on. You ain't got shit. You got lens crafters on, ass. Come on over here and chimp out. Look at this chimping out. They chimp out every day.
He finds innocent victims, innocent people minding their own business, shows them his weapon, and harasses them. Then he hits record while throwing racial slurs towards them.
Shut up, Come on, come do something. Come do something. Pull up.
Oh, he got found.
Yeah, walk up. That's what I thought. They chimping out.
And according to one victim I spoke with, he came after her children.
We were walking through Walmart when a grown man, whose name is Dalton, the same man going viral now who did this before the viral stage, looked at my girls and called them nigglets. Then he looked at me and said I was a f***ing joke. And he walked away, repeating the N-word with the hard ER at the end, and was saying it louder and louder, like he wanted people to hear it.
And for months, I've been contacting law enforcement agencies, warning them that something bad is going to happen, warning them that his intentions are clear. He plans on murdering someone.
I'm about to blow his brains out. He pulls back around here, I'm about to blow his brains out.
Don't believe me? He even tweeted it out himself. He made it very, very clear that this was going to be premeditated and he was going to claim self-defense no matter what.
I even got to say a word to him, and he had already walked up and was like throwing racial slurs at us, calling us chimps and hard ER with the N-word, like. And then by the time I opened my window and said, "Hey, do you have a problem?" he pulled his phone out and then started recording. I was like, "Yeah, he's chimping out." Like, it was a random moment.
Yet Dalton Etherly continued to walk free. Nobody in Tennessee, nobody with power did anything. And then today, just a few hours ago, it finally happened. And Chud the Builder opened fire on one of his victims.
I walked up to him because they were pointing at me. They were laughing, they were pointing at me, and I said, "What's up, guys? How y'all doing?" I said, "Y'all like the new suit?" He said, "Walk away from me." I walked away from him. He came back up to me. He literally said, "I have PTSD. I feel like I'm in." He said, "You start saying all that chimp out to me, I'm gonna hit you." He hit me, started wailing on me, even after I had to defend myself by shooting him. He's still wailing on me.
Of course, he's going to claim self-defense despite literally announcing to the world that he was going to murder someone. And now, because Tennessee officials chose to do nothing, people have been shot. And the innocent people around them, around this shooting, were put at risk. Thankfully, nobody was killed. Nobody this time, at least.
Outside of that, he is still getting a copious amount of support on his GiveSendGo account. It just seems to be non-stop with money that he's getting, and people are still saying a lot of just biblical verses over and over again. Gotta respect the Bible thumpers going hard for this man. Love to see it. People often use the Bible to justify racism, especially in the horrible parts of the Christian community. This is not a word for all Christians, but it is a nonsense thing that they like to do. And we have the other person who was shot by Chud the Builder raising just about the same amount of money as Chud the Builder is raising for the recovery and physical therapy, which is an amazing thing to see, just in case you needed a good light at the end of the tunnel behind all this nonsense. So outside of that, we're going to read actively the statement by the general release to the public of press of the attorneys that have gone through and actually taken Chud as the defender. So I'm going to read this bar for bar, and then we're going to discuss this. Attorneys have very strict guidelines on what they are allowed to say to the press when cases are pending, so I can't share much about the case. But I would like to take this opportunity to address some of the hateful phone calls and emails my office has been receiving since I've been appointed to be Mr. Ederly's attorney. So this is very important. They figured out immediately who was defending this man and started going buck wild, because you shouldn't be defending this man. And I have seen lawyers defend people that are evil, disgusting, vitriolic, nasty. I have seen lawyers defend people that deserve nothing. I've seen people defend O.J. Simpson. A lawyer's job is to prove their client is, guess what, innocent. That's what they get paid for, regardless of the emotional attachment of anything. That's what it is. My entire firm is being called racist. I am disappointed given my history and dedication to my clients, which includes people of all skin colors. So this doesn't really matter. You can still be racist even if you care about all their skin colors. It's literally your job to defend anybody regardless of the charges. Whoever hires you, you can decide to not take the case, obviously, but it is still your job. This is a lawyer's job to do this. I don't hate the person for doing their job. Realistically, I don't, but this is basically their job. Our individual rights, as secured by our constitutions, both state and federal, have endured relentless attacks from our government throughout the years. It is the defense bar who holds that line. It seems that now some of the people who we have so fervently defended now turn against one of its defenders because we are not afraid to stand up and represent someone who is unpopular. All right, so now you're getting a little bit nonsensical here. Chud the Builder has stated premeditated on this of all charges. As a matter of fact, I don't consider lawyers to have any morals, which is basically how I feel about all lawyers. I worked at a pro bono law office for many moons. They definitely don't care about morals in any capacity. They care about who's going to pay them. And pro bono is free, so realistically, they need a public defender. You have the right to a public defender. That's how you have it. It's everybody has a right to a public defender regardless of the crimes. That's true. I'll give you that. To be called a racist is an awful thing to me. I was raised to do the right thing even if it wasn't unpopular. My grandfather taught school and coached basketball during the height of racial integration in our country. Ah yes, the basketball Americans. My grandfather, these blacks playing basketball. This is insane. I'm purposely misinterpreting this, but it is funny that he brought up basketball. This is a purposeful misinterpretation of his words, by the way. I just want to point that out. He allowed his best athletes to play regardless of skin color, and because of his choices, was referred to a Nigger coach. Maybe you should get Chud the Builder to say this word for you because he loves saying this word. You shouldn't blur it out. Get Chud the Builder to come out of nowhere and say this for you. Put the audio of Chud the Builder just saying the N-word right here so you can say it. Because Chud the Builder isn't free. Why are you scared of free speech? This is exactly what I'm talking about here. Chud the Builder is arguing. Chud the Builder is arguing that he should be able to say these words, right? And you blurred it out in your statement. In your statement, you blurred out the word. So now I'm confused. Now I'm just absolutely baffled. So can Chud the Builder say the word? Can everybody say the word? Or is this word just too tainted on the ears of everybody? This is strange. So odd. But let's keep going. I am proud of him for having the courage to do the right thing, even to the detriment of his social status. I am just as proud of his actions that regard as his military service in the Korean War. Learning a lot about this lawyer's family history. Gotta appreciate that. Thank you for letting me know about your grandfather's history in the Korean War. Thank you for your service, honestly. I appreciate that deeply. My father is an attorney, largely do so through my grandfather, his father. He also instilled in me a sense of justice that is unshakable. Okay. He has consistently stood for those who couldn't stand up for themselves. He spent significant portion of his career litigating against insurance companies. I carry on that proud tradition. But rather than fighting the corporate mobsters who hold so much power and influence over our lives and laws, I have elected to fight and defend our liberties from government overreach. Cool. Thank you, man. I really do appreciate you fighting against the government, and I appreciate you proving that you're a good ally. That's outstanding. Your firm is still defending Chud the Builder. I mean, to have all these things, to have all this moral compassing, to say all these things, and still decide as a law firm to defend Chud the Builder is very telling. I feel as though you don't actually mean any of the words you say because you're defending Chud the Builder. This feels like fanfare overall. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me after saying all this stuff that you're still defending Chud the Builder. Anyways, I have zealously represented clients from all walks of life, colors, religions, and affiliations. Okay, I will continue to do so. Representing a Baptist doesn't make me a Baptist. Representing a Crip doesn't make me a Crip. Okay, now hold on now. I feel like you can get a little bit of Crip respect for representing the Crip. Hold up a second. I was, as a former Crip, hold on a second. This is important to me. As you didn't choose Bloods. Interesting. Anyways, anyone who assumes any of my staff or I are racist because I am tasked to represent someone whose opinions and actions are controversial is simply ridiculous. All right, let me loop back here. Let me loop back. Let me just say something to you real fast, right? I don't know, you're never gonna see this, but you have a choice. You have a choice to defend who you wish to defend in the court of law. You have a decision, an embedded decision, to decide who you wish to take on as a client. You have decided to take this person on as a client. I'm not sure if you're the public defender more so than anything, but you have a, you got it. You got it, right? You got it. You know what's crazy about this entire statement? You came to this man after I came to represent Mr. Italy after the public defender of our district filed a motion to withdraw. Understand that the public defender, the thing that everybody has a right to, the thing that every single American citizen has a right to, said that Dalton, the man you're defending, Chud the Builder, it's too much. Just, I can't do it. My job as a public defender, I grasp it. I would like to file a motion to withdraw because the person I'm defending is irreprehensible, is a horrible piece of human trash. I can't take it. I don't want to do this anymore. That is the man you are defending. I want you to really understand what you're defending here, what you're saying you're fighting for, and the freedoms you wish to enact against this person. This is very important to me that we talk about this because that's who you're defending. That is who you decided to defend. That is the person you have decided to go batting for in the cages, hitting out the home runs out of the park for this person. That's who you're going for. So that's what it is. In this motion, it was alleged that the private bar, of which I am a member, lacked the fortitude to represent Mr. Italy due to his unpopularity. I decided to prove them wrong. Okay, let me loop back here. Let me loop back, right? The fortitude, you did this as a matter of pride. This is now, it seems to be a matter of pride with you. Is it a matter of pride or morals? Which one is it? I'm not quite sure what it is. I don't understand which one you're going for. I don't know what you wish to say to me. I don't grasp what you're saying to me. Are you saying, hey, I'm Chud the Builder's lawyer because people doubted me, and I'm not racist because I'm defending Chud the Builder. I'm simply doing it because it's the civic duty and right that I have to defend people who are wildly unpopular. But still, the wildly unpopular person is racist. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying you are racist. I'm not. But I am saying you are a little questionable, right? A little questionable in terms of everything. I don't grasp you. I don't grasp what you're actively saying. It seems odd and ridiculous. And also, just to further reiterate the point here, a lot of people may think I'm just reading a random statement. So this is actually a thing. Chud the Builder lawyers fire back at racist claims. I will not back down. This is what we're dealing with here. Chud the Builder attorney is pushing back against the accusations he's racist just for representing the controversial streamer in court. Attorney Jake Finley released a lengthy statement after backlash over Chud the Builder. So we're reading this statement. I do want to point this out. I do want to point this out that I am reading this statement. This is just what I'm reading from Finley and Birch. This is the person exactly. Now, I'm not saying that you should go attack Finley and Birch in Tennessee. That seems a bit goofy to attack Finley and Birch in Tennessee. I'm not advocating for attacking Finley and Birch in Tennessee. And I'm not advocating for sending any hate to Finley and Birch in Tennessee. Seems goofy to do so. I refuse to do that. I don't want to have anything going against Finley and Birch in Tennessee. That seems disgusting. But I do want to read the statement, and the second part of this statement is right here. The role of a criminal defense attorney is to represent people regardless of their race, religion, ideology, or allegations against them. You are 100% correct. You are 100% correct, actually. There is no fault in your statements, but the public defender had at least some moral compass, and the fact that you are going so indefinitely hard, and when I say hard, you are going wildly hard to say I'm not racist, I don't wish to be viewed as a racist. My grandfather did things to ensure me that I have a sense of morals and justice. It's the fact that you brought up all this other stuff. I wouldn't even be covering this had you not brought up everything you're saying about yourself. If you had not brought up all these ridiculous things saying, well, my grandfather fought in the Korean War and he let people regardless of race play basketball back in the most racist era of America, and then my father is a criminal defense attorney and I went against insurance companies and went for the people. I don't want government overreach because I think it's disgusting what the government tries to do with corruption and politics, and I know what it has to be a good moral conscience. And I hear you. My ears are open and I want to believe you, but the fact that you have the option to not defend this man, you have the option to not defend this man because he's getting money. You have decided to do this. You're going to get backlash because no matter what you say at this point, picking apart your statement, it seems moot. It's a moot point to bring up all your grandfather, all your history, all this other stuff. It seems worthless to do so. It makes no sense to bring up all these things. It seems goofy to bring up all this stuff. To assume an attorney agrees with the actions of the accused is preposterous. Oh, I don't think you agree. So you're saying you're a liar. So you're saying you are a liar. Are you just admitting that you are a liar, right? Because you just confirmed to me that all attorneys are liars, which I knew already, but thank you for stating it out loud. There are good men and women defending people accused of heinous crimes against children every day, and there is no assumption that a defense attorney endorses those crimes. I agree. Actually, I don't agree. I don't agree. I do think that they're bad too. I think that I don't consider lawyers to be good people at all. I think money moves people more than they want to admit. And I think you choosing to be a lawyer or an attorney or a defense attorney and doing this stuff makes you a bad person. I genuinely feel that way. And I know they need defenses, and I know they have the best lawyers in the business, and people are going to defend them because money moves everything, and they need good arguments and stuff of that variety. Disney will hire 50 different lawyers. As a matter of fact, let's bring up Disney for a moment. Let's just bring up Disney for a moment. I'll never forget when Disney says man can't sue over wife's death because he agreed to Disney Plus terms of service. This is lawyer stuff. This to me is wild lawyer stuff. Every time I hear something about that. Jeffrey J. Piccolo sued Disney Parks and Resorts in February, months after his wife, Dr. Kanakporn Tukson, died after she consumed food containing allergens at a restaurant in Disney World. That literally, this is how I feel about lawyers. Piccolo said in a complaint that his wife and mother went to dinner at Raglan Road Irish Pub and Restaurant and Resort at the Orlando, Florida on October 5th. They asked several times whether Tungson's allergies could be accommodated according to the complaint. Despite the server having reassured them, Tungson had a severe allergic reaction and died at the hospital later, the complaint said. Disney filed court documents in May saying the $50,000 lawsuit should be dismissed and resolved by individual arbitration because of terms Piccolo agreed to when he signed up for a free trial of the streaming service Disney Plus. The filing also says he accepted the same terms when he used the Walt Disney Parks website to buy tickets. Lawyers for the company said that users have to select checkboxes that hyperlink to the terms of use, as well as another that says they agree to the terms. Users cannot select agree and continue if the box are not checked, the filing says. The filing included a copy of its terms and service, a selection titled Disney Terms of Use, and says any dispute between you and us, except for small claims, is subject to a class action waiver and must be resolved by individual binding arbitration. A spokesperson for Disney told NBC, "We are deeply saddened by the family's loss and understand the grief. Given that this restaurant is neither owned nor operated by Disney, we are merely defending ourselves against the plaintiff's attorney attempt to include us in their lawsuit against the restaurant." Now, this is super cool. The company said that its position is in no ways affects any wrongful death or any claims the plaintiff may have against the restaurant. Disney added that arbitration is commonly recognized as quicker and less costly than litigation. So this whole thing is just telling his wife that she could die. This is lawyers to me. As a matter of fact, I know lawyers are not good people of great moral standing. I don't consider that in any capacity in this statement. I don't know why you decided to state that, hey, I haven't had a racist past. I know lawyers aren't good people. I don't consider you a good person. I grasp it, right? I understand that. You even state here, this entire case is disturbing. Racism is a terrible thing and it's a flawed method of thinking. We are all the same race. We just have different skin tones. To a very large extent, people of colors in this country have had more challenges and difficulty facing the vast majority of white folks. And I gotta respect you saying all this stuff, right? And you're still defending Chud the Builder, right? I know that you say all these pretty words, same way Disney said all those pretty words about the wrongful death and all this other stuff, and I do respect that. But you are a lawyer. So that makes me have very little respect for you. I have so little respect for lawyers in any capacity. To accentuate that point, the United States Supreme Court has decided that law enforcement, particularly the ICE, are allowed to make traffic stops based on skin tone. This is commonly referred as a Kavanaugh stop. Occupation, skin tone, and location is enough for a traffic stop to check if someone is a legal resident. The normal standard was there must be reasonable suspicion of lawless activity. This is the major goal against the freedom that we cherish so dearly. Okay, I didn't know about that. Hold up a second. Is he teaching me something? Let me look at this up. Kavanaugh stop is a term applied to law enforcement practice in the United States in which federal agents stop and briefly detain a person based on their perceived ethnicity, spoken language, or occupation in consideration with other factors. The term is named after Supreme Court Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who wrote a conference in Nome versus Vasquez Perdomo, saying that the use of racial profiling to bleed sentences by immigration during mass deportations in effect was legal. Whoa. The term Kavanaugh stop was originated in a social media post in late September 2025 by Drexel University School of Law Professor Anil Kalan, in which he discussed Kavanaugh's. Oh my God, this is horrifying. Oh, I didn't know about this. Oh, wow. Well, I learned something new today. Well, thank you very much, man, that's defending Chud the Builder. I do gotta appreciate that. More recently, and just as disturbing, a new decision from the United States Supreme Court may usher a new era of gerrymandering. It's shameful that we regress so much as a nation that our leaders are allowing state governments to systematically silence minorities and render their vote meaningless. Our leaders think that this is acceptable. This is why our country is losing a lot of integrity, both domestically and abroad. If Dalton Etherly is famous for being racist, it is certainly a symptom of our country's crisis and not the crisis itself. The anger you feel would be better directed towards the men and women in charge who continue to encourage and sanction behavior of this nature. When I have been chosen to defend a fellow citizen, I will not back down. I will not cower in the face of adversity. I will not be silenced by popular opinion. It is a right entitled to each one of us by our constitutions. I will fight for the people of our nation until I cannot fight anymore. Jake Finley. I think this is a very, 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 very good statement, despite the person that I'm sure is actively just a very hard conservative. This is a very good point. As an experienced criminal defense attorney, what's striking to me is that Chud the Builder's attorney doesn't spend all these words defending his client. Instead, he focuses on making it clear that he is a raging liberal, which is that's basically what he's coming off as, what I'm discovering here. I'm very proud of him for being an ally, but he is just a raging liberal from what I'm grasping. He also makes a critical mistake he's likely to make in hearings and at a trial, getting sucked into the vacuum of the noise in this case instead of focusing on legal work. I'd be very concerned about where this lawyer's focus and effort was after reading this. His thoughts about the need for a vigorous constitutional defense and the defense bar holding the line is certainly true. That said, it's hard to believe he's actually applied that given the focus of his writing. And I think this is a very fair statement overall. So if I may organize my thoughts ever so correctly, I think the lawyer is technically correct, right? You are defending your client. And to me, it sounds like you're excusing your client because that's exactly what defense is. You are taking the shape of somebody who is not racist. You can say everyone deserves representation, and the sentence is wildly true. I think that everybody deserves representation. I think is useless against the image already burned into the public's nervous system when it comes to Chud the Builder, right? Like, the image is about pain. And I don't care about your legal philosophy. I really don't. I care about how I feel. And that's how most people are, because we're all not as sophisticated as you. We're not as smart as you. We're not. The public does not experience scandals as law students. We don't. They experience them as people who have watched too many powerful people walk away unscathed and too many racists get away. They have watched too many victims get ignored. They have watched too many apologies that meant nothing. Same with the Disney thing I showed earlier. They have watched too many headlines fade until the damage just stays in the background. So when an attorney stands up, right, when you, Mr. Bentley, stand up and say, I want to talk about fairness, I don't think you're an individual. I think you are another brick in a wall that has been protecting the wrong people for decades. That is what it is. And the fact you bring up all your past, all your history, everything you do, and still choose to do this is the issue. You just add another brick. And I think that your brick is wildly logical and also the bigger issue at hold when it comes to a lot of the stuff. And I think it's so frustrating because your points are not wrong. You are structurally correct. A system without defense is not justice. It is vengeance. It is just vengeance. I think the line between those two things is very important between people. But people are not living in a functioning society right now. They are living in a society where trust has been evaporated over and over again. Recently, Donald Trump just got something passed that allowed him to never be investigated by the IRS. I can bring up nonsense like that too, but right now we're talking about a racist. We are living in a society where the word fairness is a joke, and you want to talk about fair. You disgust me. I think what happens, and you realize this too, is that we as humans personalize systems because systems are too large to fight. I cannot scream at the justice system. I can't get the justice system and argue against it. I can't do that. I cannot send death threats to institutional decay. I cannot cancel structural racism. So people find a face. That face right now is Chud the Builder. And you're defending that face. And people attach everything to that face. That face has become the system of racism. The face of Chud the Builder signals in people betrayal. The face becomes every time you felt powerless and no one listened. And the attorney did not ask for that weight. You did not ask to become a symbol. But you did not avoid becoming one. Once you step into a public controversy, you lose control over what you represent. You are not defending due process. You are defending a racist to the eyes of hundreds of thousands of people. And I think you don't understand. Maybe you do understand. And maybe that's why you made this whole thing to try to defend yourself. You should have said nothing realistically. The internet runs on symbols. Symbols are efficient. Symbols are nothing. They don't require nuance. Symbols can be liked or hated in a fraction of a second, and that's what it is. I'm a symbol for all black people to a lot of people. I'm a symbol for neurodivergence to a lot of people. People view me as a symbol. The perception is never fair because we don't care about fairness in the same way other people don't care about fairness. We're fighting fire with fire, and we're all gonna burn down the forest. An eye for an eye makes the entire world blind. But guess what, guys? I know Braille. So I can still talk. And despite the fact that I'm blind, I'm still gonna talk. The emotional reality is that people are exhausted. That's what's going on. They are exhausted from watching the same patterns repeat, exhausted from seeing powerful people protected by systems designed to protect everyone, but somehow always working better for the powerful. Exhausted from being told to be rational when rationality is a luxury for people who have not been hurt. Your statement was rational. However, I don't give a damn about rational. I really don't. I just don't care. And it sucks to say that because I love being rational. I love talking about the specifics of a specific situation. I love doing that, but I really don't care. I really don't. I just don't get it. You're defending a racist. You get it? You cannot logic someone out of a position they did not logic themselves into. The person who hate this statement, the people who hate this statement, did not arrive at that hate through careful reasoning. They arrived through experience, through memory, through 1,000 small cuts that never healed. You cannot argue with a wound. It's ridiculous to do so. Whatever scar that is left by people is not interested in your explanation. The scar is interested in not being cut again. Your statement felt like another cut. Fair or not, that's the reality. You are not wrong, right? You understand? You're not wrong. But people are emotional. People are human. The way it matters is the image people already have in their heads, which no amount of legal reasoning can erase. Once you become a symbol, you stop being a person. To a lot of people, Chud the Builder is not a person. I would love to give this person personhood. I would love to. But everybody else has decided that he is not a person. And I would be a fool to go against all this nonsense because I don't like Chud the Builder, but I still feel like he's human. I don't like him though. And I don't have any reason to defend the man. I really don't. Anyway, that's the lawyer's statement, and those are my thoughts on it. Let me know what you think about the lawyer's statement in the comment section down below. Have a lovely day or night wherever you're at, and I'm out. Peace. Bye.
I'm your nigga night, be my Laurel low. Happy to try what you need. Your world, I love to live in it. I love the ride when you're free.